Hi everyone, my name is Georgia Reese, and I am presenting KFC Australia's KFC Wedding campaign from September of this year. KFC was founded by Harlan Sanders in Corbin, Kentucky in 1930 when he began feeding hungry travelers. He spent 9 years perfecting his secret blend of 11 herbs and spices fried chicken recipe. There are now over 23,000 KFC restaurants in 140 countries around the world. Australia's first KFC was opened in 1968 in Guildford, Sydney. Throughout the years, KFC Australia has followed the similar trend of rapid progression that other KFC stores have. There are now more than 650 KFC restaurants in Australia. Australia's KFCs stand apart from other international stores because they have made sustainable changes like using Australian canola oil and opening energy efficient restaurants. Harlan Sanders passed away in 1980, but the values he built KFC upon still live on today. There are 3 main house rules that each employee in every store in any country, state, or city must follow. 1. Be yourself. 2. Make a difference. And 3. Have fun. These house rules match the tone with which KFC promotes its brand and interacts with customers. They are lighthearted and casual, communicating with the public as if they were friends. The company's values are: have a passion for food and serve it with pride. Come to work as the best version of yourself. Treat each guest like a friend. Ensure every guest leaves happy, and use natural, high quality materials. The overarching mission of KFC is to help and encourage customers to live their best life. This value is going to come up later when we discuss KFC Australia's wedding campaign. KFC noticed that throughout the world, people were proposing to their significant others in their restaurants. KFC Australia had been recognizing this trend within their stores, so when they saw a viral story about a man proposing to his girlfriend in a KFC in South Africa, they decided to celebrate these romantic and large gestures. KFC South Africa offered to cater the newly engaged couple's wedding for free, and after people gave the man a hard time about his proposal. KFC Australia took it to a new level and developed a KFC wedding campaign where they would provide a food truck, decorations, and a photo booth free of charge for 6 Australian couples who would be chosen from a pool of applicants. They saw the opportunity to play a role in one of the most memorable days of people's lives, and they took it. Next, we have a SWOT analysis. As far as strengths are concerned, the company has successfully created a distinct brand and voice, and their wedding campaign emphasizes that by staying true to the message. For instance, they have come up with numerous catchy slogans and puns for the campaign. They are celebrating love and creating experiences for customers that they will associate with the company for the rest of their lives. However, there are some weaknesses as well. It seems like the company could have had a better community outreach and a stronger social media presence. They really only advertised the campaign on their website and then just let other people spread the news. Their voice and tone would have translated the campaign nicely through social media posts. The campaign offers many opportunities for growth in customer relations, making their brand even more personable with increased popularity. The threats associated with the campaign are that they could run into being too selective and not being diverse enough. This is something they should remain mindful of during their selection process. They should be aware of losing money or losing people's interest if they end up only catering to a small audience of Australian KFC fans. Australia's political system is based on the liberal democratic tradition. They really value freedom of speech and association, which also goes along with their strong religious tolerance. The Australian Constitution is the foundation of the country's political system. It came into effect on January 1, 1901, setting the rules and responsibilities for their 3 branches of government. Similar to the United States, their 3 branches are the judicial, legislative, and executive. They have a king and queen who work as the head of the state. The Constitution also lays the framework for their ruling. Australia is ranked the 13th least corrupt country in the world. It has a high score of 77 out of 100 as of last year. In 2011, it reached 88, which means its global ranking was higher than it's ever been. Australia is a highly developed country and therefore has a highly developed economy. Its economy is the 5th freest in the 2019 index with a score of 80.9. This is way above the world average and sets the country as the 4th freest out of 43 countries in its region. It is also one of the wealthiest countries in its region and has a low unemployment rate of 5.6%. This too sets them apart and in a better place than many other countries, as this percentage is below the world average. Almost all of Australia's industries are active and competitive internationally. Since Australia is so developed, it has many forms of media systems in place and many outlets for media. However, News Corp Limited plays a major role in media within Australia. It owns Fox Studio Australia, a major news channel. It also owns Foxtel, a television service that offers movies, sports, news, and more. And it owns several Australian newspapers in both large and small markets. Sir Keith Murdoch is a big name among Australian media systems, as he owns Adelaide News, the Weekly Times, Perth Sunday Times, TV Week, the Sydney Daily, and Sunday Mirror. These are all major newspapers in Australia and news channels, as he entered the television business in 1958. Finally, another big name in Australia's media systems is John Fairfax Publications. It owns Fairfax Community Newspapers and has 28 community publications that mainly target Australian urban regions. This is a widespread media system within the country. Australia has a very high literacy rate. Almost all adults over the age of 15 are able to read. This sets Australia apart from many countries around the world. There's an internet penetration of 88%, and according to a study conducted by Statista, people in more populated cities are more likely to use the internet and are more likely to use it every day. Australia's media penetration is 69%. It has been steadily increasing over the past 4 years. Australia scores low on power distance within Hofstede's cultural dimensions. Hierarchy is there for convenience in Australia, and superiors often rely on people who hold positions below them to offer information, help, or even expertise. Communication is open, and it's just expected that employees will report to their superior when making decisions. Australia scored a 90 in individualism, showing that it has a very individualist culture. People are likely to just look after themselves and their immediate family. In terms of business, people are often expected to be self-reliant. Australia scored a 61 in masculinity, meaning it's characterized as a masculine society. This means that they value hard work and being the best in various aspects of life. The goal is to win. Their uncertainty avoidance received a score of 51. This score does not really lean one way or another, and it just means that they are not overly anxious about the uncertainty of the future. Australia's long-term orientation received a score of 21. This means that they have a normative culture. They respect tradition and focus on achieving quick results and discovering the absolute truth. Finally, Australia has a score of 71 for indulgence. This is a high score and shows that Australians typically like to have fun and remain positive. They hold leisure time in high regard and rely on it to remain optimistic and happy. KFC Australia's wedding campaign is meant to help people live their best lives. The company is inserting itself in a couple's big day and is becoming a key component of their lifelong memories. They are doing this by releasing applications on their website for couples to fill out. They encourage them to be original, creative, and expressive, and say that they will be picking 6 couples who meet these standards and clearly explain their love for KFC and for each other. Winners must have their weddings between November of 2019 and May of 2020. They will receive a KFC-themed wedding celebrant, a KFC-themed photo booth, and a KFC-themed music entertainment, and a KFC food truck that serves their famous fried chicken and custom KFC buckets. It will all be free of charge. The primary audience for this campaign is engaged Australian couples over the age of 18. They will primarily be millennials, a fact that is also evident through the language and tone used throughout the campaign. It seems catered to a younger audience, as it has an extremely casual and celebratory tone. The secondary audience for this campaign is likely to be young Australians who are not yet engaged. This population will probably be Generation X. They will see the campaign and consider it for their future wedding. They also can relate to the stories and photos being shared, hoping to one day tell a similar story of their own. The KFC wedding can be something they aspire to have. KFC Global is another audience, as KFC Australia is the company's first branch to do this campaign. They are setting a new tone and possibly inspiring others to do the same. The goal of the campaign is to celebrate people's special moments of love, especially those that are associated with KFC. The restaurant is becoming a part of people's lifelong memories and is sharing with those who have shared their love, story, memories, and money with them. They are reinforcing the mission to live your best life by playing a major role in it. The output objectives are to share stories of KFC weddings and featured couples. They want to share shareable stories, meaning they want to encourage others to share them as well. An example of this objective is how the KFC South Africa proposal went viral. KFC Australia hopes that their efforts are known and spread. Their impact objectives are to change people's attitude about KFC food and services from simply seeing it as a greasy fast food restaurant. They want it to be considered for events and special moments rather than a quick and cheap rest stop. This will ultimately change people's behavior towards KFC restaurants as they will begin to go to them more frequently and for different occasions. The campaign was announced in September of 2019 on KFC Australia's website. A video was released on YouTube on September 8th, and applications were also released. The deadline for the applications was October 18th. 6 winners were chosen and announced later that month. Between the months of November 2019 and May 2020, KFC Australia will be providing services, materials, and food at the 6 couples' weddings. KFC Australia got very creative with the slogans they came up with for the campaign. They all revolve around the idea of simply living your best life. Some include, say bucket, why not, to a KFC wedding, or put a wing on it. They all fit a theme of celebrating love however you want and celebrating your best life in whatever way that means for you. Ideally, it means eating KFC fried chicken on your wedding day, or at least that's what the company is trying to get the public to associate with living their best life. The campaign's theme focuses on originality and is fun, lighthearted, and casual. It's very appealing and friendly. KFC Australia's actions were pretty simple in regard to implementing and planning their campaign. They announced the campaign on their website with a series of photos demonstrating a KFC wedding day. They also included a very brief promotional video. Then they released applications and provided their requirements and the deadline, which was October 18th. They closed the applications and chose 6 winners who will be having their KFC weddings from now until May 2020. KFC Australia primarily advertised the campaign on their own website. They used YouTube to upload the promotional video and then provided a link to that on their website as well. They were not very active about the campaign on their social media, but other people were active in communicating it with their followers. There was a lot of talk about the campaign on Twitter, and they used paid media. There were articles written about it in news outlets and blog posts discussing it. Word of the campaign spread a lot through other people rather than being spread by the company itself. KFC Australia just created shareable content like KFC wedding pictures, which were very effective. This campaign definitely altered the image of KFC Australia. It can now be associated with sentiment and can be seen as personable. People will think of weddings and love when they hear KFC Australia, rather than just thinking of big greasy buckets of fried chicken. They were successful in using a consistent voice when advertising and received a lot of positive reactions from people online in regard to the campaign. They also successfully created a campaign that will capture people's attention for a solid period of time because people will want to check back in periodically to see the results of the winners' KFC weddings. KFC Australia noticed the trend occurring of proposals in their stores and others around the world. They decided to create a memorable experience for these customers. They drew people in by providing photos of what wedding day would look like and by using friendly, celebratory, and inviting language. The applications helped too, as it added an element of competition and surprise, engaging people in the process. They then provided free services, food, and decorations to the lucky winners, ultimately playing a major role in one of the most memorable days of people's lives. They inserted themselves in other people's narrative of love and helped them to achieve their best life. A major takeaway from this campaign is the effectiveness of maintaining a distinct, recognizable, and inviting voice. It is capable of connecting the company to the audience and increases the personable qualities of the campaign. It also was beneficial to provide shareable material that really allowed people to picture what it could be like to have a KFC at their wedding. Going off of this point, though, I would have to recommend that they shared more about the campaign, including their photos, on social media as well as their website. It seems like a missed opportunity and could have really increased audience engagement. They also could have shared specific stories of proposals in their own stores to increase the personal level of the campaign. The campaign was regulated by KFC Australia and through the application process. They had a few requirements, like being over 18 and an Australian resident, but other than that, people were free to apply and the decision for a winner ultimately came down to the company. Australia has an indulgent culture, recognized by their score on Hofstede's cultural dimensions. This campaign really played into that aspect of Australian culture as it focused on positivity, love, and living your best life. A goal of the campaign was to change people's view on KFC Australia. They can now see it in a new, personable, and friendly light rather than just as a fast food chain. They might start going there to eat more, or booking them for catering, or just associating them with more than just another fast food restaurant. The campaign created memorable experiences for couples throughout Australia. It provided services, food, and decorations on people's big day. And finally, there was a message of sentiment from the campaign. Celebrating love in all forms, in whatever way one wants, was a heartfelt and sentimental message to come from a fast food restaurant. Here are my sources, and thank you so much for watching.